Now, fraudsters, you better beware, because our next guest has made a mission to expose any catfish that crosses her path.
Yeah, after growing suspicious of the messages she was receiving online, Becky Holmes decided to take matters into her own hands by replying to every scammer that popped into her inbox.
She's basically the James Blunt of the anti-scamming.
Yeah, she is.
Very good.
She is.
Yes,
like,
please.
yeah,
I'll have that. I'll take that,
posting the hilarious conversations on her social media, she's gained thousands of followers and even released her own book, the brilliantly entitled Keanu Reeves is Not in Love with You.
Should say sadly at the end.
Sadly. It is sad.
Yeah.
Listen, she's joining us now with her story and the signs you need to look out for if you think you're being scammed. Morning, Becky.
Morning.
So this all kind of started in lockdown, didn't it? It was 2020, you were a bit bored, a bit lonely.
Yeah.
So you thought, you know what, I'm going to go...
That makes me sound really tragic. Thanks for that.
A bit lonely. So you thought, you know what, I'm going to get involved in a bit of social media.
Yeah, so it was... I was sick of watching the news and sick of watching COVID, basically.
Yeah.
So I thought, right, I'll go on Twitter. That'll be fun. But almost straight away, my inbox was flooded with these really young, handsome men, all kind of, you know, looking as if they're in the army or, you know, really buff, saying, oh, I think you're the most gorgeous thing in the world. And I thought, do you? OK.
So you just had, like, an instinct in your heart, you knew it wasn't real?
Do you know what? I've thought about this quite a lot. So I think the reason why I was able to tell is because I got so many at once.
Right.
So it was really fortunate. If it had been just one guy that had maybe messaged and said, hi, you look lovely, I might have thought, oh, do I? But actually, because it was about 12 of them, I thought, hang on a minute, you know, either this is a convention and they're all messaging me, but so it was quite obvious that something was
following
going
Becky.
on.
Yeah, me too.
Maybe Becky.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe you're just a very pretty girl and maybe they were interested in you. But obviously we know they're not.
Thanks, but yeah.
So when did you... Like, where did that come from? Any idea where that comes from? The fact that you get, like, bombarded with these? Like, why did they single you out? Because you'd only just joined Twitter, or I don't understand?
Yeah, so if you are a woman, particularly of a certain age, so I'm 45, I don't know if my profile picture made me look particularly fat and desperate. I don't know. They might have thought, oh, no, there, we've got one. But if you are a woman, in actual fact, no matter what age, you do tend to get people messaging saying, hello, dear, hello, my darling.
Well, I don't. I'm of a certain age. I don't get nothing.
But we've so many years, like, we've been doing this like 4 years now, and I reckon once every couple of months we meet someone on this couch who has...
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah.
Someone has slid into their DMs and before you know it, £50,000 is out of their bank account, you know?
But it doesn't... You know, it's even if you send somebody 50 quid, it's kind of relative. So obviously nobody wants to lose.
Still a lot of money.
Well, no, but even when you interview those people, it never starts. It always starts with the small amounts, and then the trust comes in, and before you know it, they've remortgaged the house. You know, sort of.
And it can start off with just little gift cards.
Yeah.
So you know, I need £10 iTunes vouchers for whatever it is they say.
Are you serious?
Yeah, yeah. And then you think, oh, OK, £10.
It's nothing,
fine.
yeah.
Yeah, and then you get to know each other more and more, and you kind of bond. You know, and people always say, don't send money to somebody you don't know. But the point is, if you're in an online relationship with somebody, you think you do know them.
Yeah.
So actually, that phrase becomes completely irrelevant. So when I was interviewing people for the book, there was one lady, she'd been to her bank and she wanted to transfer quite a large amount of money over. And they said, well, do you know this person? And she said, yeah, I do. So they went, oh, OK, then.
Yeah.
Now, she doesn't know them. She only knew them online.
Yeah, but because they'd been talking for, I don't know, 6 months, day in, day out, her view was that she did know them. And you can see why that is.
So if you think about it, it's like a 6-month job for the scammer. That's a 6-month job. They get a payout of 50 grand at the end of it. I mean...
Yeah, but remember, they're talking to dozens of people at the same time.
Talking to a company or a syndicate, basically.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, so they operate like pyramid schemes. You know, you have somebody that will... recruit another scammer. They'll take 10% of their money.
So it's a proper business.
It is huge business.
So you knew this from the start, right? You weren't suckered in. So then you start messaging back, but kind of like up in the ante. How did it work?
So to start with, I was just blocking them and deleting them and thinking, oh, whatever.
Yeah.
But then I think it was about 3 months into lockdown, and I'd literally completed Netflix and every single jigsaw that I could buy on Amazon. Like, unbelievable.
So I need to have some fun here.
I need to do something. So I just started messaging nonsense to see what I could get away with.
Well, tell us about Raymond. Tell us what happened with Raymond.
Raymond was my first.
So he's the first one you started messaging back?
Yeah, yeah.
So tell us what happened.
So he was pretending oh God, it's a long time ago, but I think he was pretending to be a doctor.
Yeah.
And I found out later that actually the photo they used is a doctor in America. And he's really well used with fraudsters because he's very sort of handsome and, you know, anyway. So we sort of started speaking and he wasn't listening to anything I was saying. So after a while I thought, right, OK. So I started asking him to put fruit into various orifices. And he was just going, OK, dear. And I thought, this is great. So then I was messaging just fruit emojis. And he was saying, OK, all right, I don't understand this. And it eventually blocked me. And I thought, this is great. I've been blocked by a scammer.
Yeah.
So then I just decided to make it a mission to see how many more I could get blocked by.
So it's like you're scamming the scammers?
Yeah, it's become a hobby.
Oh,
you know, we've all got something to do.
So good.
What about pilot Mark Patrick?
Yes.
And the voyage to Sweden?
So he is my pinned tweet because he's one of my absolute favourites. So he messaged me. He obviously was saying he was a pilot. And again, the photo used is of a real pilot.
Yeah.
But he's gay, unfortunately, and he's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
This guy told me that he was in Bristol, but he was flying to Stockholm. So I said, oh, that's OK. Why don't I come to Stockholm as well? And he went, oh, no, there's no need to do that. And I said, fine, got nothing on. So I said, what time are you getting in? And he said a time. So I said, all right, OK, fine.
Perfect.
So I pretended to book a ticket, sent him the information. And then there was this, no, you don't need to do this. And then he's, you know, I want to be with you forever. So I said, that's fine, I'll book a hotel.
I'm on my way.
I'll book a wedding venue. So I did a fake booking for a wedding venue. This guy panicked beyond belief. Then I had a picture of Birmingham Airport and I said, it's really quiet, I'll be there soon.
I love you.
Yeah. And then he blocked me as well.
So do you know what? I mean, we're laughing, but there is a serious side to this. There's a lot of victims out there who get scammed. And even they started to approach you, didn't they?
Yeah, so once I'd been doing this for a little while, because when I started doing this, I didn't really know about romance fraud. I only knew from programmes like this where someone would come on.
What's your background? What did you do?
I worked in financial services.
Yeah.
So, you know, no scamming there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I didn't really know much about it. And I started getting people approaching me on Twitter saying, I've been the victim of a fraud. So during lockdown, I was just kind of chatting to people and being their sounding board because nobody tells anyone.
Yeah.
So I was speaking to women and some men who'd not told their kids or their family or whatever it was, and they were just telling me.
And I suppose they felt that they couldn't tell the shame of it. They can't tell their families. Yeah. So offloading to you must have been lovely.
Yeah, and it was genuinely quite a privilege to listen to some of them because they were incredible women.
Yeah.
There's this stereotype of, you know, sort of desperate women crying into their chocolate, you know, I need a man.
Yeah.
I haven't met any like that.
No, exactly.
The victims that I spoke to, there was a lawyer, an MD, a police detective that I interview in the book, who gave money away. So
we're the same. You meet people and you read the brief and you go, how could you have been taken in by that? When you meet them, like you said, they're not the people you think they're going to be.
No, absolutely not. But the problem is, as a society, we treat romance fraud victims as fools.
Yeah.
So it just perpetuates this feeling of shame. Yeah. And there is nothing to be ashamed of because basically, if you've sent money to somebody, you're kind.
Yeah.